You're watching the show that puts Spartan news in focus.
This is Focal Point.
I'm Jessica Brown, and I'll tell you what this storm construction means for students on Michigan State's campus. Coming up next on Focal Point.
Later on tonight, we'll show you how the Spartan football team started off their season.
And Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons take over the Wharton Center. We'll take a look behind the scenes at the new musical, Jersey Boys.
Focal Point starts now.
I'm Hannah Saunders.
And I'm Jamison Williams. Welcome to Focal Point. While Michigan State University welcomes its biggest freshman class this fall, it's not without some problems. With dorms on campus under construction, many freshmen have to live with 3 people in rooms meant for 2. Focal Point's Jessica Brown has more on this story.
Nick Pareka and his roommates got a rude awakening when they found out their rooming situation.
I don't have a desk. I took that route because basically I'm always on my laptop anyways, but I'm pretty condensed in my space.
For these MSU students, living on campus didn't turn out to be quite like they expected.
Kind of disappointed considering me and the guy above me right here, we went in together, so knowing that we would have a third guy, our plans to make this a lavish abode were kind of thwarted by the third man in the room.
Students were told before their arrival to campus that living space would be limited, but many didn't realize how small some rooms would be.
Many of the triple rooms in West Circle Complex feature this ceiling block, which you can see takes up a significant amount of space, making the room appear even smaller than it already is.
Students feel that the situation could have been handled a little differently by doubling up students in different rooms. None of the larger corner rooms in West Circle are housing 3 students.
I don't understand why those wouldn't be the first to be third person.
The Michigan State Admissions Office says they took housing into consideration when going through the application review process. They also say next year's class will be smaller.
It was a strategic plan to move forward with this large class, although it's not something we can do 2 years in a row. So next year we'll kind of step back a bit and go to that typically sized freshman class.
Despite the unexpected rooming situation, students are making it work.
It's working out good. He's a good guy. We have some good times. He's a pretty funny guy.
In the end, it's the student's decision as to whether or not they'll accept the offer of admission.
The Brody dorms under construction will be reopened and available to students next fall. For Focal Point, I'm Jessica Brown.
MSU's freshman class consists of about 7,500 students, about 500 more than in years past.
Police are currently looking for a suspect who may be involved in a series of East Lansing break-ins. The break-ins took place over the last week in the Landings apartment complex during the daytime. Police are warning students to keep their windows and doors locked at all times to protect them from a possible break-in.
Lansing residents raced to fill up their tanks this past weekend while gas prices were as low as $2.98 per gallon. MSU Assistant Professor of Economics Soren Anderson says he expects gas prices to continue falling as demand typically decreases in the winter. Michigan is one of 12 states with no-fault insurance laws, but that could soon be changing. State legislators are debating whether to get rid of no-fault insurance, which has made many upset. Focal Point's Jen Shen explains.
The proposed legislation will make major changes in the current insurance system. Supporters say no-fault insurance is at the root of several insurance problems, but critics say it may have impact on Michigan's economy.
It will eliminate our lifetime coverage for all reasonable charges for reasonably necessary products and services, and enable insurance companies to offer cheaper policies with coverage limits far less than that.
No-fault law makes it difficult for innocent victims to whom the drunk and reckless drivers responsible for the injuries. One of the car accident victims says it may cause more accidents.
The reason I say it's an oxymoron is because no-fault insurance means nobody's at fault. We all know when there's an accident, probably one person is at fault.
If you are injured in a car collision, you will get some medical benefits under no-fault insurance policy, regardless of who is at fault. Others may consider the policy unreasonable.
No-fault insurance, to me as a consumer, waste of money. We're not getting anything back for the money that we're spending.
Does a new policy offer people more choices and help them save money? Insurance executive says it will.
Under the proposed changes, consumers would have the choice between $250,000 or $500,000, $1 million coverage, or $5 million in coverage.
The Anderson Economic Group found the proposed law will have a negative economic impact, but it's not main reason to consider changing a state's insurance laws. What's more important?
We think more important are the people that would be left underinsured for catastrophic accidents, and some questions we have about whether the Michigan Catastrophic Claims Association would be able to transition in a financially sound way to a new regime.
They also found between 2,000 and 5,000 jobs will be created. This issue will be debated until the next few weeks. For Focal Point, I'm Jen Chen.
The legislation also proposes to change a doctor's fee schedule, making it similar to the workers' compensation policy. This will help control medical care under the no-fault medical benefit.
Officials suspect a 19-year-old New Jersey man of helping 6 high school students cheat on the SATs. Investigators believe he was charging students up to $2,500 to take the test for them. He faces up to 4 years in prison, while the students involved are charged with misdemeanors.
MSU announces its 2011 homecoming court.
And campus gets a facelift. Jessica Brown has these stories and more this week on campus. Jessica?
Thanks, Hannah. Michigan State named 10 seniors for this year's homecoming court. Here's a look at this year's court. Students were nominated and evaluated on leadership, community involvement, academic excellence, and Spartan pride. The court will ride in the parade on Friday, October 21st, and walk on the field at halftime during the night game against Wisconsin on Saturday the 22nd. Though the historical Michigan State College smokestack from the Shaw Lane power plant is no longer a part of the university's skyline, pieces of the monument can become part of your living room decor. Full bricks from the former 230-foot smokestack are available to purchase for $75 each at msusurplusstore.com. The concrete blocks were also available at the store after the tower's demolition beginning in May, but were more popular than store employees anticipated.
Wish we would have had about 200 more to meet the demand, so it's been a wonderful project.
The Sparty bricks come with a certificate of authenticity, and proceeds are donated to the Sparty Endowment Fund. The organization works toward the long-term maintenance of both the new and old Sparty statues. MSU's campus will expand its research projects even more with the Board of Trustees' approval of a $40 million bioengineering facility. Research at MSU's College of Engineering has essentially doubled in the last 5 years. The new facility will help bring in new faculty that focus on biomedical research. The building will be built on the corner of Bogue and Service Road, the area already home to life sciences, engineering, nursing, and other biomedical fields. Officials from MSU's College of Engineering say the location of the building will promote faculty from various biomedical fields to work together. Funds for the project will come primarily from the state of Michigan and will be matched by MSU. The building will need to be approved by the state on November 1st. Construction will begin next October. That's what's happening on campus. I'm Jessica Brown. Back to you, J-Mo and Hannah.
Thanks, Jessica. Coming up after the break, the Great Lakes get a poor grade.
Plus, we'll look at what people are doing to help fight Alzheimer's disease. We'll be right back.
Greener than the hill, where flowers grow and the sun shines still. Now I'm darker than the deepest sea. Just hand me down, give me a place to be.
Welcome back. Lake Michigan gets a less than impressive grade.
And families take a walk for Alzheimer's awareness. Emily Fox has these stories in this week's Health and Environment Report. Emily?
Thanks, Hannah. Lake Michigan has a grade C on its overall health. That's according to a report card from the Great Lakes Task Force. The report, which came out of Illinois, shows that beach water quality and lake water levels got D grades. Sewage, pollution, and invasive species were given C grades, but Michigan officials are most concerned about Asian carp threatening the health of Lake Michigan.
Like the enemy that nobody ever wants to have, and suddenly we have it knocking on our door. And it's a big enemy, and it's very hard to contain.
Asian carp DNA has been found in Lake Michigan. Patty Burkholz says Michigan needs to be more proactive on making sure the invasive fish do not invade the lake. 3 days before International Alzheimer's Awareness Day, local families dedicated their day to help find a cure. Focal Point's Hannah Saunders shows us how their passion is making a difference and how comments by a televangelist has some a bit upset.
It's a clear and breezy Sunday.
It's become part of our September celebration.
Just perfect for a stroll along the Red Cedar River.
It's just nice to get out and see all the people.
Beverly Lawrence couldn't pick better weather for her and her family to attend their second annual Walk to End Alzheimer's here on campus.
I've just been really, really fortunate.
This year the crowd's bigger than ever with more than 1,000 walkers.
The Lawrence clan traveled from all over the state to raise funds that could eliminate a disease that has caused each of them so much pain.
It was shortly after he retired.
He couldn't walk, talk, move.
But he passed away in December.
So I have to watch everybody.
Thank you so very much, and thank you
just
all
come out and support. It's wonderful.
Wonderful day.
It's just hard.
Recent comments by evangelist Pat Robertson that said divorcing a spouse with Alzheimer's is justified has Beverly's daughter a little frustrated today.
Boy, was I mad. If I would have been face to face with him, I probably would have slapped him.
Especially when trying to reflect on her parents' marriage.
I can't believe a preacher would say that. Death do us part, sickness and health. I think there are some reasons for divorce. Having Alzheimer's is not one of them. My grandma is the perfect picture.
But despite her family's struggles, Beverly makes sure to keep moving forward. For Focal Point,
I don't want to run out of electricity here.
I'm Hannah Saunders.
This year's walk raised almost $75,000. That's all for Health and Environment this week. Back to you.
Thanks, Emily. Coming up next, MSU remembers legendary baseball coach Danny Litweiler. We've got highlights of Spartan football.
And we'll take you to Blues Fest after the break.
When I was green, greener than the hill, where flowers grew and the sun shone still. Now I'm darker than the deepest sea. Just hand me down, give me a place to be.
Welcome back. I'm Annie Cook with this week's Sports Report. MSU basketball player Delvon Rowe has retired. The 6'8" forward held a press conference with head coach Tom Izzo late this week to announce that he would not compete in his senior season because of degenerative knee pain. Rowe says the decision was the hardest he's ever made and that the pain has taken its toll on him. Izzo praised Rowe's toughness and said he feels badly for him. Rowe will remain on scholarship and is on track to graduate in May with a degree in theater. On the heels of Big Ten championship, the Spartan football team is ready to defend its title. The Spartans kicked off their season against Youngstown State with a 28-6 win. Wide receiver B.J. Cunningham caught his 148th career reception, tying Matt Trannon's record. The statistics were overshadowed, however, by the first career start for Arthur Ray Jr., an offensive lineman who was diagnosed with cancer in his leg in 2007. The Spartans then beat Florida Atlantic 44-0. The Spartan offense was dominated with more than 400 yards. Quarterback Kirk Cousins completed 16 of 20 passes for 183 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Spartan defense held the Owls to only 48 yards and 1 first down. Starting the season with 2 wins, the Spartan football team faced their first road test at Notre Dame. The Spartans struggled from the beginning, falling behind 14-3 by the end of the first quarter. The Spartan offense faced a tough Irish defense, rushing for only 29 yards and being forced to depend on the pass. Quarterback Kirk Cousins ended the game with 329 yards but was sacked twice. Coach Mark D'Antonio says that despite the loss, he was proud of the way the team fought.
Very proud of the effort of our players because we played to the final whistle and we continue to try and win and cut it to 8 points or 7 points, and we were onside, kicked it, etc. Have to execute better.
The Spartans were looking to bounce back from their first loss of the season, and bounce back they did. The Spartans beat the Chippewas handily 45-7, with the Spartan defense chalking up 4 interceptions. Leading the Spartans was sophomore Le'Veon Bell, who racked up 81 yards and 3 touchdowns, all in the first half. The Spartans made a statement that they're comfortable with their running game, as the first 5 plays of the game were to running back Edwin Baker. The next play, Cousins threw a 54-yard bomb to B.J. Cunningham. Bell scored his first touchdown of the game on the next play. The Spartans' offensive line was missing 3 key players due to injury, but seemed to handle the challenge. The Spartans are off next week, which will give them time to get ready to host rival Michigan on October 15th. The relationship between the Lansing school budget and the high school athletics has been a declining affair over the last few years. Focal Point's Jamison Williams reports on how the budget crunch will affect what the future holds for local high school sports.
Black pants, white pants, blue shirts, yellow shirts. Now what looks like glorified gym class is actually a single force called the Sexton Big Reds football team. Although the Reds, like many Lansing teams, face tough opponents this season, perhaps the most formidable foe is the Lansing school budget.
The last couple years we've been cut in different areas to the point to where we've actually had to cut some of our programs. We weren't able to purchase the amount of new helmets that we actually needed this year because of the cuts. I hate to say it, but I can see in the future Lansing possibly being a school district that's also forced to have their kids pay to play.
If paying to play was to become a reality, the athletes might not get what they pay for. Money woes have left many facilities and equipment on the injured reserve. Although the mind and body of the athlete is built for adversity, pay to play might put some on the bench. $1, $2, $3. Wow, that's expensive. Now, while pay to play could bring in revenue for the Lansing School District, the money coming in could equal the students going out.
End up seeing is you see less kids competing. If you look at some of the outside school districts, they have pay to play. And those amounts go anywhere from $150 to $300 a year for a kid to participate in the sport.
Some students are rising to the level of competition by raising the level of money needed to compete.
And that money pays our coaches, lets us go to races, it buys us uniforms, gives us transportation.
Lansing sports still have hope, so they keep running that race of perseverance. In the words of baseball legend Yogi Berra, it ain't over till it's over. For Focal Point, I'm J-Mo Williams.
Budget meetings are planned to discuss the future of the budget and the impact on many of these programs. The Spartan hockey team officially starts practice on October 1st, but new head coach Tom Anastas is impressed by the team already. Anastas recently put his team through a program called Judgment Day to work on their team unity and leadership. The program emphasizes leadership in adverse conditions, and Anastas says he was pleasantly surprised by the leadership on his team.
So it was a very good experience for our team. As you guys know, leadership is a key component to any successful team, and it's nice to discover that we have some depth in our leadership maybe that we weren't anticipating.
The hockey team officially starts practice today and has their first preseason home game versus Western Ontario on October 3rd before heading to North Dakota for the Icebreaker Tournament. MSU baseball says goodbye to a coaching legend. Former coach Danny Litweiler passed away last week in Clearwater, Florida. Littweiler was the head coach for the Spartans for 19 seasons, winning Big Ten championships in 1971 and 79, and leading the Spartans to 3 NCAA tournaments. 13 of Littweiler's players played in the major leagues, including Rick Miller and Kirk Gibson. Littweiler was also credited as being the first player to lace the fingers of his glove, which became very popular throughout the league. MSU Athletic Director Mark Hollis paid his respects to the coaching great in a statement released last week. Danny had an immense impact on the game of baseball across all levels, from college to the major leagues to internationally. His knowledge and love for the game were evident not only by his innovations, but by the way his players and peers respected him. That's sports for this week. I'm Annie Cook. Back to you, Jameson.
Thanks, Annie. Small family-owned businesses in downtown Lansing are feeling the strain on their pocketbooks as a result of summer-long construction on Saginaw Street. Jessica Brown has more.
Ice cream shop co-owner James Fawaz says he's used to a long line out the door of the Utter Creamery on hot summer days, but this year it was a little different.
In the winter, yeah, we might get 5 or 6 customers, but we need that 500 customers in the summertime. With road construction that goes from May now all the way into October, it just makes it tough on us.
As you can see behind me, traffic on Saginaw Street has been reduced to westbound only, making it harder for people to gain access to those businesses on the southern side of the road. The Thrifty Children's Store says they've lost over $10,000 the past few months.
I can hardly afford to feed my family. I can't pay myself. I could pay just my business. I could pay my rent, but I'm bringing nothing into my house.
Business owners say the road work has taken an unnecessary amount of time.
When I got here on Monday and I noticed that they'd done the first layer on the other side, and Saturday they were cleaning the road with their sweepers. We were all cheering, but it's still a one way. And then it was disappointing because I haven't seen them out there since.
When store owner Melinda Schaaf confronted Delta Township about the delay, they told her it would be finished any day. It's been 3 weeks and it still isn't complete.
I have lost an extraordinary amount of profit. My business has hurt.
Despite the hardship, entrepreneurs are understanding as to why people have chosen to stay away.
90% of the people just don't want to deal with construction. I mean, I feel the same way.
Business owners are looking forward to the day they see customers back in their shops. For Focal Point, I'm Jessica Brown.
The new date of completion for the Saginaw construction has now moved to mid-October. Lansing rocks out at Blues Fest.
And New Jersey meets East Lansing with a new musical. Andrea Nelson has these stories in this week's entertainment.
Thanks, guys. The 16th annual Lansing Area Blues Fest brought more than 15,000 spectators downtown for some great music, great food, and great fun.
And I'll be with you.
The sights, sounds, and smells of Blues Fest brought thousands of people together in Old Town Lansing.
I love the pretty music. I love the pretty blue sky, and I guess if I have to be politically correct, the fragrance of food in the air.
And there was more than enough of it. People lined up at food vendors for everything Blues Fest had to offer.
Can I help who's next, please?
With plenty of toppings.
Do you like bacon as well?
Well, the vendors here in Old Town attract quite a crowd, but there's a reason they call it Blues Fest.
When I get through with you, baby, they're gonna have to throw me in jail.
More than 20 acts performed on 5 different stages, giving the crowd plenty of entertainment.
There's a great bluegrass music here, and I enjoyed listening to it. They got good entertainment.
And the bands had just as much fun as the people they were performing for.
The people have been really nice. I mean, we just got off stage and people were already very complimentary and liked my guitar playing, so how can you not like that?
We've already had so much fun. This is great.
Blues music may not be as popular as it used to be, but the Mandeville Trio brings that soul music back through its notes.
When you hear me or Donna or people that are of our school playing blues guitar, we are trying to squeeze the most emotion.
And it was pretty clear that the audience felt it too. Blues Fest is a 2-day free music festival that brings national, regional, and local acts to an audience of people from across the Midwest every September. The Tony and Grammy-winning musical Jersey Boys opened their East Lansing stint this past Wednesday at the Wharton Center. The story follows Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons from their humble beginnings to the height of their fame. Jersey Boys has a strong following, with more than 12 million people having seen the show worldwide. Matt Bailey and Michael Lomenda, who play Tommy DeVito and Nick Massey, say that fans of the show aren't the typical Broadway enthusiasts.
It's funny, it's one of those shows that they say that like the guys drag their girlfriends to, you know, which is kind of awesome for a music theater show because, you know, it doesn't always happen that way. But I think ultimately what it is that, you know, it's about brotherhood, it's about the, you know, it's about the, I don't know, the sort of community that comes with, you know, hanging out with a bunch of guys and creating great music, and that's something that I think people identify with.
Jersey Boys will be in East Lansing through October 16th. Tickets are still available at whartoncenter.com or by calling 1-800-WHARTON.
Thanks, Andrea. Well, that's our show for tonight.
We leave you now with a little bit of music from MSU's Wind Ensemble. Thanks for watching.
Good night.